What I realize is what has made me successful is building a brand. I've built a brand of trust, follow through, warmth, partnership, and all these things. And then I realized that what if I applied that to my dreams? What if I applied that same amount of passion and energy that I give the company I work for to myself and to my dreams? You know, when you get to a certain point in your career, you realize you're an accumulation of all your failures and all your successes. And I think that's the same with chasing your dreams. When you do get 4 or 5 years out and you look back, that growth is there, that confidence is there, and you're like, holy cow, look what I'm made of.
Yeah. Welcome to the She Believed She Could podcast. I'm your host, Allison Walsh. Since 2020, this show has inspired thousands of women around the world to believe in themselves and take bold action toward the lives they're meant to live. Each episode brings you powerful conversations and practical strategies to strengthen your mindset, build your confidence and brand, grow your business, and protect your well-being, all while spotlighting stories of women who are making a difference and changing the world in their own way. I am so glad you're here. Now let's get to work. I am so excited to bring back to the show today Becca Powers. If you know her, you love her. She has been on our show before. She is a longtime client and a dear friend, and we are so proud of her. She is celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Return to Radiance, which was her second book that hit USA Today bestseller list. I am so excited for you just to hear more about her story, what that opportunity has unlocked for her, and all of the great things that she has in store. And again, she is a perfect example of somebody who took building her brand seriously, and it unlocked unbelievable opportunities for her future. So welcome back to the show, Becca Powers. Well, Becca, we are sitting in real life today, and I'm so excited to be spending time with you. But before we jump in, would you just do a brief intro so our audience just catches up with you?
Yes, sure. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm a former client, current client of Allison's. We kind of like just
We keep it going.
Yeah, we throw sessions in when we need them. But I'm Becca Powers. I'm a USA Today bestselling author.
Yes.
And keynote speaker and trauma-informed leadership expert. I've spent 20 years as a Fortune 500 sales leader. So I've got lots of titles, lots of things, and I lean into the "and," as I like to say.
Yes, you do. Lots of crowns as far as we are concerned. So excited for you.
Thank you.
And it's just been such a beautiful journey to witness. I mean, we started working together a few years ago. You had one book with a dream on your heart to be able to get a second one out into the world. And not only did she show up and shine, she hit that USA Today bestseller, which was a huge goal of yours.
It
But
was.
oh my gosh, let's walk everybody through that, because you were on right when that book was about to come out. You came on the show. We were talking all about A Return to Radiance, but catch them up. So tell them about, the book a little bit, and then everything that you experienced as a result of hitting that list.
Oh my gosh. So one, I just want to I got teary when you were saying the dream on my heart, because I remember when I first got introduced to you and I was like, hey, I have these big goals, but I am a corporate gal. I still love my career, but I still want to chase all these things. And I remember how lit up you got being like,
yes,
this is my type of person. And I say that because I just want to start for, anybody listening to this, that if you have a dream, but you also have other obligations, whether it's a career or you're caretaking, but you still have this dream percolating, you can do it. You don't have to wait.
Yeah.
And I think I just love championing that message, because here we are today. That same woman who called you 3-4 years ago and was like, I have this dream on my heart. I'm sitting here on a bestsellers list. I'm probably retiring within a year. And I've had this most incredible journey of not only writing a book that I feel that the world really needed, but then I got to really rise into who I thought I could be. And so I don't know where you want to take that, but there was just, I remember us talking so much about that version of myself that I saw and that you saw. And now I'm living it. So
Right. Well, and there's so much to unpack here. It's like I get emotional thinking
I
about
know.
it
I was
because
getting teary.
like I can remember our first call ever. I remember where I was sitting. I remember our conversation. And to your point, it was a hell yes for me, right? It was like, yes,
I'm like, I got the
there's the
goosebumps.
goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
was
got
like,
goosebumps.
this is someone that I can really help because I related so much to you, right?
Yes.
And I had lived very similar experiences, climbing the corporate ladder, leaning into the power of and I wanted to write a book and I wanted to have my own company and I wanted to speak on stages. And I just saw so much potential in you. And it was such an honor and privilege to witness the actualization of that and to
Yes.
see you lean in and do the work. First and foremost, like anybody listening, Becca works, like she puts in the work, but to
5
see
a.m. every day.
yes, you do. But that's because you care deeply
I
about
do.
it. And I think you also see your potential to impact people. And you saw how your first book did that. I'm sure that was it probably caught you a little bit by surprise. I don't want to like put feelings and thoughts in your mind, but like when you first publish, you never know what's going to happen. But then to know what you wanted to create and share with your second book, I mean, that was just so powerful. So talk about a return to radiance first so that everybody can just get caught up there and
Okay.
then we'll roll from there.
So, a return to radiance is really written to help people come back to who they truly are. Because I do believe that there's a disconnection right now with whether it's busyness or lots of obligations. There's just lots of things that pull us out of who we were meant to be. And there's also this idea that I really was flirting with when I wrote the book of we already are that person. So, and I get the
Yeah.
goosebumps thinking about that because we spend so much time trying to become something that we already are. And in the opening of the book, just to give the audience and the listeners a little bit of something to ground themselves in, and as I talk about this concept, I open the book talking about my dad.
Mhm.
And I remember my dad and mom were full-time musicians when I was born. And I grew up, with bongos and bonfires and just really cool stuff that I didn't, I kind of took for granted because I didn't know that that was something special. But my point to that is that I remember being 7 years old and my mom bringing me to a bar. It was the 80s, guys. So just like, no, there was like lots of cigarette smoke and that was like socially acceptable,
Back in the day.
Back in the day, it's fine. But I remember my dad was a lead singer and a lead guitarist. And I remember him standing under the stage lights, hitting his guitar solos to Comfortably Numb. And at 7, I realized that there was something happening, like the universe, God, his spirit was playing through him. And I get the goosebumps to this
Mhm.
day every time I talk about it. And he just allowed himself to be,
Mhm.
and as I've stepped into coming out of my first book, I realized like, wow, like my radiance is an expression of me. That was my dad's radiance, and it was an expression of him. How it shows up in me is writing, speaking, anything to do with talking, really. I'm like, I'm in, it's a form. But then I thought, well, I'm pretty sure everybody has a version of radiance. And, as I studied and, went into even like I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher. So there's another um, just to wrap up this thought, what I realized is through the teachings and studyings and research I did on this, that it's really true. We all do. And so Return to Radiance was like, I feel like my gift to the world, not in a cocky way, but of how I've found a method. I call it the power method,
Mhm.
which you helped me create. But that's my method for coming back to yourself.
Yeah, and it's beautiful too. And I mean, I think you talk about this in the book though, and you even quote that doubt will kill more dreams than failure ever will.
Yes.
And so often we can get paralyzed in our own self-doubt around leaning into those things though. I think it's almost harder the older you get because I think we become very conditioned
Yes.
and we easily peel away those things that bring us our radiance and joy. And I know you talk about that in the book too, of just like you can't lose yourself in the process. And it's so easy to. So what type of advice do you have for those that are listening that maybe feel a little bit disconnected and that are saying, wow, you know what? As I sit here and I think about this and I listen to them talk, I'm not doing the things that light me up anymore. Where do they start?
I like to say, like, give yourself permission to dream again. Like, inside all of us, it's not so much about inner child work per se, but inside all of us is an inner child who does like to play, who does know what they like. I remember even at 7 years old or 6 years old, lining up my stuffed animals, my Care Bears and my Pound Puppies and my Rainbow Bright doll or whatever, and giving them speeches, right? So when I started thinking about this for myself and the process of how I would encourage someone to think, I started reviewing my childhood and I was like, oh, it was there all along,
Yeah.
right? And so what I would say to someone is just take yourself back, not to the bad, because I think that's also part of the problem is that we
Yeah.
spend so much time focusing on what was wrong with our childhoods and our past rather than what was good with it. And that keeps us a little stuck in our future, right? In
Yeah, it
our
does.
present.
It does.
And so I invite people to give yourself permission to dream again. Go back to that fun spirited person before you weren't and like tap back into what did you like to do? Even if it was just fun. Like my cousin, here's a good example of like, a reader of the book, and she's my cousin. So she has like inside my world. So there's a lot of influence, but she loves gardening.
Mhm.
And then her gardening turned into she'd allowed herself to start doing it in the house and then friends and family. And now she has a little gardening business on the
That's
side.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I mean, for us, we have big displays of stages and
Yeah.
platforms, but that's not for everybody. Sometimes your radiance is simply, it could be pouring into your family. It could be gardening. It could be dancing
Mhm.
even, and just getting back into something that filled your body and your spirit with joy. So I'll
Right.
stop there, but
No, but it's so powerful. And it's just a good reminder that it doesn't have to be huge, but it does need to be something that sets your soul on fire. And I think too, like and I know you resonate with this, you're a high achiever just like I am. And a lot of high achievers listen to this show where it almost becomes like, well, if I can't do it to 150%, then I'm not going to do it at all. And it's like, no,
yes.
like pause for a second and allow it to be that joy and that radiance and that outlet for you. It doesn't have to be, to the extremes. And so I'm sure you face that a lot with people that you coach too.
100%. And there's a few things in that, but one thing that I really do want to unpack, and that's the journey.
Mhm.
Um, yes, I'm very goal driven. I'm just going to use the USA Today list. So,
Mhm.
I was like,
Oh,
I'm going for
getting
it.
it.
I'm going to do it. And I did it. So that was awesome.
Uh-huh.
But the preparation for it
Yeah.
is where I learned everything.
Mhm.
It really, yes, the goal, it felt incredible to celebrate and thank
Mhm.
you for being a part of the celebration as well. That was awesome. But I look back on that and I'm like, the character that I had to have, right?
Mhm.
The joy that I got to experience and going deeper into my craft. You mentioned impact, the lives I got to impact, not only the readership,
Mhm.
but the partnership. None of when you really go for your dreams, it's not a by yourself project.
Yes.
And the joy that you get in collaboration, the joy that you get in innovation and new
Mhm.
ideas, and these type of things, I think, go beyond just the personal experience. I think I love teaching, bringing this back to business too, because I think businesses stop dreaming.
Yes, they
And
do.
that joy of the collaboration and that joy of the innovation prevents sometimes them like being cutting edge in the industry again. Maybe they used to be 10 years ago. And so I think some of these principles can be transferred to a person as well as a business too.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say complacency is where dreams go to die. And
Ah,
it's
that's a good one.
really easy to get complacent. And that's where, I mean, I know you are a big believer in that growth mindset of just being 1% better every day, stretching yourself, like dreaming a little bit bigger than maybe what you've allowed yourself to do before. But I do want to pause on the collaboration piece because I think that, and I know like the internet, there's all the goosebumps happening over there. I love it. That's always my goal is can I get Becca to get goosebumps?
At
But
least 10
at
times,
least
yes.
10 times every time we talk. But I think that And I don't know if it's the internet, I don't know what it is that's caused a lot of people to think they have to do it alone. And I spend more time, and I've noticed myself having this conversation a lot recently with my current clients around like, you're not going to win awards for doing it by yourself. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be lonely and isolating when you can go farther, faster, and have more fun. And surround yourself with people that have done what it is that you wanted to do and that are willing to help you be successful. But have you noticed that people try to do it all on their own too?
I second that.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And even I find, even though I brought up this conversation, I think one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it too is that I have found it in myself, even in these past like 4 years. I grow to a certain level and then I'm like, I got it. Like I got it. And then I have to check myself, be like,
do you?
Do I? And then I get encouraged to hire another person or to, collaborate with a different coach or to do something outside of my comfort zone. And what do you know? What happens?
You grow. Mind blown.
Mind blown. And then you get more people in your corner. And, the other benefit that I think I'd love to share with listeners is that we spend a lot of time trying to grow our audience, or if you're that type of person that's trying to do those things. But what I want to say is that it organically grows the more you collaborate and the more you let a team support you in your dreams. And that is something that I think is a newer aha for me, that I'm like, whoa, like more people come in and you don't think there's room for it, but there is. And that's just been a really exciting part of the journey too.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll spend some time here too. Obviously we're super excited. We partnered with Hi Hello Network, which is super excited. And Carlos is here recording us today. Love that. But again, collaboration, right? That was something new for me. And taking a show from 0 to 5 years, pretty much, with me leading the charge, having some people working behind the scenes on things, but really letting go and trusting that there are amazing people that you can bring into your world that are just going to help you grow even further. And even in our business this year, I brought on more coaches. I have a support team that we've built out. It's just beautiful to see the evolution, but it would have been very easy for me to be like, no, I got this. I can do it on my own. Right. But all I'm doing is stunting my own growth in that very moment. And so my motto for the year has been who, not how.
I love that.
And that has really forced me to think about who else can I bring into my world that is going to allow me to propel the mission forward, but that I can impact and they can impact me. And that has really been my guiding principle for the year. And I think that's why we've had such a great year this year and had so much growth and have such a beautiful future. But it's just exciting to be able to say, what I thought this year would look like, 9-10 months ago is different than what it is now.
Same.
And that's great, right? That's beautiful, but it's because we're allowing ourselves to grow and we're putting ourselves in rooms and places and spaces with people that are doing the thing that can help us go from where we are to where we want to be.
Absolutely.
So it's super exciting. I love this for us. All right. But I wanted to talk about this today with you specifically, because when you did make that phone call to me 3 or 4 years ago and we started working together, the desire really was to build your brand.
Yes.
And, this series is really about giving women the ammunition, the fuel, the fire to go after it, because whether they're in a corporate position or they're starting their own thing or they're doing their own thing and they want to do more, no matter what you're doing, your brand is the through line to all of it. So
1,000%.
one story changed everything for me, and it can do the same for you too. I started by sharing my recovery story in small rooms, volunteering, and helping wherever I could. That story became my platform, led to leadership roles, media features, and eventually me starting She Believes She Could. What I realized is this: your personal brand is the bridge between who you are and who you can help. When you show up with purpose, your story becomes someone else's survival guide or their inspiration to keep going. The Impact Brand Accelerator is where I teach you how to turn your identity, message, and audience into impact. So if you're ready to build a service-driven brand that opens doors and expands your impact, enroll now. Why was it important to you back then? And then we'll go from there.
So I think I understood, even though there was so much I didn't understand about the journey, but there was something that I understood about needing. I've been in sales. I'm just going to digress for a second to give the listeners a little bit of grounding again. Is I've been in sales my entire life. That's why you and I were like,
Locked and loaded.
and what I realized is what has made me successful is building a brand. I didn't really know at the time over the 2 decades of doing it that that's what I've done, but I've built a brand of trust, follow through, warmth and partnership and all these things. And then I realized that what if I applied that to my dreams?
Yeah.
What if I applied that same amount of passion and energy that I give the company I work for to myself and to my dreams? And I think that's where it really started. And then I realized that there was people like you out there that actually help us put that container together and that it is necessary. Like if I want to be not only an author, but I want to be on stages and I want to um, coach and train and consult, that I might be Becca Powers, but people need to understand what my brand is, what my through line is, what my impact is, why they want to hire me or work with me or partner with me or collaborate with me. And that does take honing the skills, and honing your focus and really getting um, to the depth of what it is that you want to create. And it was just such a beautiful journey. So to answer the question, that's a lot of the context. But for anybody listening that's considering, there is so much to you. And there is so much beautiful impact you can make in the world if you allow yourself to step into that fullness, into your radiance. And it does require you to have a brand, and it's beautiful to explore it and see what your brand is.
Yeah, thank you for that, because it is so important that everyone recognizes that it's already within. And sometimes you need to have people around you that can hold up the mirror and
Yes.
help you see. Yeah, they're the goosebumps again. I love it. But to help you see what you're capable of,
Yes.
and to really illuminate the parts of you that can create so much impact in this world. And I think I will live and die on this hill that, we are born to do great things in this lifetime. And it's a disservice if we dim our own light. And I want everybody to have the opportunity to experience what that ripple effect can feel like when showing up in your highest and truest form and sharing your gifts with the world, like what that can do for somebody else.
I think I got the goosebumps 2 or 3 times during that, but I was like, yes. Yes, you mentioned something about the ripple. I think the journey for me, I knew I wanted to make an outer impact, but it very much started with the I, because I needed to get comfortable on camera. I needed to get to pursue my dreams and how I saw them and how you saw them. Like I had to get familiar with doing a lot of things that I wasn't yet familiar with. But what I didn't realize is that I had to get over myself really quick, and that it wasn't about me. It was about the thing that was inside me, that once it landed out in the world, the difference that it made. And now fast forward years later, when I'm out and I'm still wowed if I run into somebody, if I'm doing a keynote for a few hundred people in the audience and someone comes up to me saying, I read your book, it changed my life, it saved my marriage, it did. I mean, I cry. I'm like, holy,
Yes.
like what a magical ripple it is. And, I have grown up with a lot of addicts in my life, and through my own work in codependency and stuff, I have learned that all of us impact up to 6 lives. And I just wanted to give a shout out to AA and all those programs, because that's where I learned that. But if you think about that, every life we impact at least 6 or more. And so if you rise into your truth, you have the courage to pursue it, just one life can impact 6 others. And then if you do it on a grander scale, like you're going to impact tens of thousands of people. And then that I get the goosebumps, but that ripple
Yeah, it's
goes out.
huge.
It's
And
huge.
well, and I think that there was just such a misconception. And as we were doing work around, where do we go and grow from here within our agency and just with our clients and our community, the through line with all of the women that I work with is that it's not really about them. It's about the difference that they can make in the world. And I just want to remind everybody that, it's really easy to think about personal branding or building your brand as something that's very ego driven, but it's not when
It's
it's the
not.
right intention and, you have a bigger vision to do good in the world. Building your brand is only going to help you amplify that and help more people do the thing that you've done. I mean, I know we share some common mentors too. And one of our favorite, quotes, one of my favorite quotes is that you're in the best position to help the person you once were. And if you don't share that with the world, then you don't have the opportunity to really help other people do that in their sphere of influence too. So it's like that permission granted concept.
Yes. And there's something that I wanted to say in that because I think a lot of people, in my experience too, when I'm bringing on, private clients and stuff like that, who maybe do want to consider some thought leadership, but want to go
Hmm.
through some coaching and stuff first, they get really wrapped up into what I would say the science and psychology side of building a brand, like the
Hmm.
colors
Yeah.
and trust me, I mean, you've seen
You've done
me.
a refresh 1 or 2 times, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5. It's a thing. I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna
Yeah.
lie. But I love that you called that out and then brought in, like, one of my favorite things, the "and," is that it's always around the difference that you're making. And so don't get it too in your head about
Hmm.
these things. The colors will fall into place, the
Right.
through lines will come, and part of it is the journey. My journey has gotten clearer and clearer and clearer from not stopping.
Hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And just continuing to serve. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I know what I'm doing, but,
Yeah.
like, I might not know the next 3 steps,
Right.
right? But I know right now, and that's enough. And I think for a lot of high achievers, um, we're very good at, like, planning, like, what's the 5-year plan? And we've got it detailed out. Let me grab my journal. I'll show you,
Yep.
and I think while all of that is great, because 'cause I'm a big goal setter too, I think that there's this, I call it the beautiful unfolding. Sometimes you just need to start the thing
Mhm.
and keep doing the thing for the real vision to unfold.
Mhm.
So I was really glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, and that's where the confidence is built too, because I think the other side to branding in some places where I see people get stuck is that they're really solid in doing the work up until the time that it's like post, publish, share, all those things that it's like they clam up or they get nervous or it's like, what are people going to think? And it's like, no, listen, do the thing, right? Do the thing that's hard. Prove to yourself today that you can do it. And I guarantee you, somebody's going to be impacted by it. Your confidence is going to grow in the best way possible. And then it makes it that much easier to do it again. But to your point, you keep going. You keep showing up. You keep trying the things. You keep getting on stages. You keep writing. You keep sharing, right? Like it's
Yes.
all of those things. And then all of a sudden, you look back over the last several years and you're like, oh my gosh, look what I did because I kept going. Like even in hard times and seasons that are more difficult, you just keep doing
You
it.
just keep doing it. I love that so much. And I think I want to relay it too for any listeners that are still in a job or still, maybe considering doing the and it's the same principle as you climbing your corporate ladder or hitting your big sales goals. You don't learn to be a good salesperson by always crushing it.
Mhm.
Quite frankly, you learn a lot when you don't.
Yes, very true. The most humbling of moments and
Yes,
lessons.
you're like,
So,
okay, self-reflect, do again. And I say that because, when you get to a certain point in your career, you realize you're an accumulation of all your failures and all your successes. And I think that's the same with chasing your dreams.
Mhm.
You are an accumulation of starting, restopping, not, continuing to go no matter how big the trials are. And when you do get 4 or 5 years out and you look back, that growth is there, that confidence is there, and you're like, holy cow, look what I'm made of,
Yeah.
you know?
It's so special. And one of my favorite slides to flash up when I'm doing a workshop is just even the journey of like, she believes she could, right? Perfect example. Started it in the early days of the pandemic, didn't know what I was doing, bought a mic for $90 off of Amazon, created a desk in my child's playroom off their kitchen table,
I did not know that.
Oh, there's some really priceless photos in the bubblegum pink playroom of me trying to figure all this out. And, we're sitting here in an office of somebody who I interviewed early days of the podcast she was on, and to see where we are now, right? Like since then, left my corporate job, had a great book deal, wonderful book launch, speak on stages, doing the things, have created a life that I love. And it never would have happened if I wasn't willing to figure it out and just try and literally hit record. I had no following on social media at that time. I had no email list at that time. I had nothing other than my work ethic and a career track record that I was proud of and a desire to make a difference in this world. And it was literally just, let's start talking about something positive because this pandemic stinks. And I didn't want to hear any more negative news in the world. And that's it. And here we are. And it's just crazy to think about if I hadn't done that, right? If I had just let that dream die inside me. And that is something that I remind myself of all the time. And it's just permission to do it. Like, please, if you're listening and you're on the fence, please do it. Like, we have a community full of women that are proof of what's possible. And
Yes,
Becca's sitting right in
exactly.
front of me being one of those women. So I'm just so proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
I'm super excited. So talk everybody through. So you had your incredible book launch, USA Today bestseller. So excited. And then you have also been just really packaging up some of the services that you have, and you've got a certification program and some cool things that you've been working on, and people you've been working with. So share with them what you're doing now.
Yes. So right now I'm really leaning into something that I find so freaking fascinating and has been like in me the whole time, but I had to go through all the different versions to get it out. And I'm leaning into trauma informed leadership. And for me, what that really means, and it leads into like coaching certifications and all this stuff. But um, as a leader, I can say, especially, and you know this to be true too, since the pandemic, the power through and push through mentality just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
The nervous system is fried. So I realized, being a Kundalini yoga teacher and having, being an executive life coach, and I have all these different hats that I wear. But it kind of took me going through all the process to realize that I have a uniqueness in the way that I'm packaged, and we all do, for that matter, if you're listening. And I'm so glad you asked the question, because I think it allows me to tap into my uniqueness and maybe inspire that in someone else. But my unique lens is like, hey, I have all these skills. I'm a master coach and all these things. Like, what if I started certifying leaders to be coaches and taught them about the nervous system and how to lead different? And then it goes to impact. I'm like, oh my gosh, if they created psychological safety, and that would then do collaboration, innovation, prevent burnout, all these things that I've been really passionate about and teaching within my teachings for years, that could change the consciousness of corporate America.
Yes.
And so now I feel so mission driven because I believe we need it. The world needs it.
Yes.
And now I feel that I have developed something that is a gift.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to get into the world. And you were I could get teary speaking of it, but you were such a big part of that. And I'm just so thankful, because we do need people. I'm going to try not to cry, but we do. It goes back to something earlier in our conversation where we do need people to see us where we can't see ourselves, and not only see us, but also see our teachings. Like, there was parts of what I was bringing forward that you're like, the world needs more of that. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That? I love that, but I didn't know that was the thing. And so sometimes you need someone to have eyes for you when you can't see them yourself. So,
oh my gosh.
but that's what I'm up to now. And like, it's taken off. I'm certifying leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs. Like, it's happening. It's getting out into the world. And I'm just so excited, because I'm like, when we have different leaders, we have different outcomes. And so that's my jam right now.
Yeah. Happier people, more fulfilled people, right? Like, talk about ripple effect.
Yes.
Right? Like, you talk about that is what you have created is going to massively disrupt the way things are now, which needs to be disrupted and the best possible way. And so I'm just super excited for you. And I know that, we're probably going to recap in a year from now too and be like, so let's talk about that. And you're going to be like, there's thousands of people trained on this and certified. I'll be like, I knew it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just such a pleasure, Becca. I just adore you.
I
And I'm
know,
just so
same.
grateful for this time. But I know you've got a lot of places and spaces people can connect with you. So let's share that. And then I've got 2 final questions for
All
you.
right, great. So platforms, main ones are LinkedIn, Instagram. My handle's at Becca Powers 1313. Website, beccapowers.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, all those. And then, was I supposed to answer something else?
No,
Was
I
that
got you.
it?
You
Okay.
just
All
where they
right.
can find you.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Mhm.
And then, I love to ask this question, and I'm curious how you feel about it now. But what does confidence mean to you?
Confidence right now means to me the courage to pursue who you really are.
It's beautiful. I love that. I love that. And, we love the name She Believed She Could. So, as you hear that and having the ability to really look back on your journey, was there one particular moment where you really believed you could and you took action and made a big difference in your own life?
Yes. We've talked about it a lot through this interview, but I saw the USA Today list so clearly in my mind. And there was a lot that I didn't know how. I didn't know the how or the who. But I believed I could.
Yeah.
And I had people like you and others in my
Yeah.
corner that was like, yeah, you can. I was like, yeah, I can. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And in the spirit of, she believed she could, you can.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And I also just want to share with the audience that you've done a great job at bringing people along the journey, which we talked about earlier. But I'm also really proud of you for allowing yourself to be celebrated by those that
Oh,
love you so dearly. And for those listening, Becca had a celebration, a party before we even knew that you had hit the list,
yes.
right? And
Mhm.
I want to just double click there because, especially for high achievers, it can be hard to stop and celebrate because we're already on to the next goal. We're already there. But that room, the night that you had your party, was so full of love and just so many memories and people that have just been so enamored with you because you are showing up in your radiance and you're bringing all of us along with you. And it was just such a good reminder that we need to do this. We all
Yes.
need to take those moments to pause and celebrate and appreciate the progress and be excited about the future. And oh my gosh, I'll never forget refreshing that list at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning and then like blowing up your phone going, you did
I know.
it!
The
Number
funniest
44.
part about it is that I was up all night and I couldn't sleep. And then I finally fell asleep at like 4 in the morning. So I woke up to text from you and Lene saying I made it. And like I always wake up at 5 a.m. And it was the one day I woke up at like 6:45 or 7.
Oh
I'm like,
my gosh, it was such a moment. But just again, proof of what's possible
yeah.
when you do believe in yourself.
And I would like to say one more thing before we close out because you had mentioned something in that recap that I think is really important for the listeners is that high achievers don't stop to celebrate. I always call them helmet checks. And what I mean by that, that's when you're going off target and you have your coach give you like a like upside the head, a little helmet check. And Allison gave me one, and it was that I don't squeeze my lemons.
Mhm.
And that still stays with me today. You're like, Becca, I'm going to get really honest with you. You don't squeeze your lemons. And what I mean by that is exactly what you said. You don't stop to celebrate enough. You don't stop to honor. There isn't a process there for
Mhm.
you.
You're just collecting the lemons.
yeah, just going
Not
straight to
enjoying the
next.
juice.
And that really
Yeah.
resonated with me. And when I took the time to celebrate the book and not in a non-marketing way,
Yeah.
like I didn't have publicists there. I
Yep.
just had friends and family and coaches and people who I loved and that loved me. It was so beautiful. And my soul felt it.
Yeah.
And it was just so wonderful to celebrate. So I appreciate that you have given me that helmet check and that you mentioned it because it is really
Yeah.
powerful.
Well, I hope everybody finds those moments and intentionally celebrates because life is really short and it's really easy to become human doings. and not human beings. When we really stop and pause and allow ourselves to be loved and to love what we're doing and to be in it and really
Yes.
embrace the moment, it has left such an impression on me because I've worked with hundreds of amazing women one-on-one like yourself,
Yeah.
right? And we've got thousands in our community, and it is one of the hardest things to get people to do. And you did it, and you made an impression on me, and it has been a reminder for me at every different milestone how important it is in my own life to do it. So
Thank you.
thank you for also helmet checking me, even though you didn't realize you were
I
doing
didn't know I
it.
did, but
So,
happy.
well, I just love you dearly, and thank
love
you
you
so
too.
much for being on the show today. And I'm just so excited to see all of the wonderful things that are in the future.
Awesome.